Hare Krishna. The soul can't be dried up, but our soul can be dried up. Sometimes while practicing spiritual life, we may feel very dry. We may not feel any taste. We feel as if our devotional practices have become useless, have become joyless. And sometimes we may hear also of other spiritualists talking about dark, dreary, dry phases in their spiritual life. Now, what happens exactly at such times when we feel as if our soul is dried up? The Bhagavad-gita actually describes that the soul is indestructible. It cannot be destroyed by anything, any of the things that destroy material objects. So, the Bhagavad-gita says that Achedyo yam adhayo yam akledyo shoshya evacha nityah sarvagata sthanur achalo yam sanatanaha. So in 2.25 the Gita states that Achedyo, the soul is beyond penetration. It cannot be destroyed by some sword piercing it. Adhayo yam, it is beyond incineration. It cannot be burned and destroyed. Akledyo, that it cannot be withered away by the wind and destroyed like that. And ashosha, it cannot be dried, it cannot be scorched, it cannot be desiccated. Desiccation means when something becomes, all the water is taken out of it, at that time it's said to be desiccated. The soul can't be dried up, Krishna is telling very categorically. Then what do we mean when we say my soul is feeling dried up, I am feeling dry in my spiritual life? Actually this refers to not objective reality but subjective feeling. It is not literal usage, it is metaphorical statement which nonetheless expresses our reality. In fact, the Gita itself uses such metaphorical language when it says in 16.9 etam drishtim avashtabhya nashtatmano alpabuddhaya prabhavanti ugra karmanah kshayaya jagato hitaha. So while describing atheistic people who reject the existence of God, who reject the existence of anything spiritual, the Gita says, such people, nashtatmano alpabuddhayaha. Such people says that atheistic worldview has destroyed their soul. And then later again in 16.21, Krishna also says, Trividham narkasyedam dwaram nashanam atmanah kamah krodha satha lobhas tasmade tatrayam tejet. So it says dwaram nashanam atmana. These are three doors, that three gateways that destroy the soul. What are these three gateways to hell that destroy the soul? Nashanam atmana, kamaha, krodha, lobha. Lust, anger and greed. So here Krishna is talking about the two factors that can dry up our spiritual life. One is doubt and the other is desire. When we expose ourselves to doubt-inducing anti-devotional ideas such as atheism, then when we are doubting whether God exists, and how can we devote ourselves to God? How can we connect ourselves with God? How can we experience love of God? Naturally, by such doubts, our soul dries up. And similarly, when we expose ourselves to anti-devotional desires such as lust, anger, greed, then those desires, they make our consciousness consumed by the things of this world. For example, lust, greed, they make us think, oh, pleasure is out here, I just have to get it, if only I get these objects. We become completely consumed by worldly objects. And anger also consumes our consciousness in a different way. It makes us believe, and oh, because I am not getting these objects, that's why I am not happy. And either way, our consciousness gets shifted from God to the objects of this world. And because we are not connected with Krishna, naturally we feel dried up within. So, by recognizing the danger to our spiritual life, we can be cautious and avoid exposure to things that induce doubts or desires within us. At the same time, by knowing that we at our core are indestructible, we can have inner security and march through life with confidence. So through this combination of caution and confidence, we can move steadily on the journey towards Krishna. And when we become more and more connected with Krishna, when we develop love for Krishna, the love for Krishna becomes like an ocean of happiness that flows through our heart. enriching us and flooding us with endless joy. Thank you. Hare Krishna.